You're listening to the Kelly Cutrara Show, 148. It's World Water Day. I just enjoyed a beautiful sip of clean water. Not everybody in Canada can say that they can confidently drink water. A lot of our First Nation communities across Canada are on boil water advisories where they have to ship in water. And we often talk about this issue and bring it up on the show. And people want to know why Indigenous communities still don't have fresh drinking water. Nadia George joins us. She's an Indigenous actor, activist, and Water First ambassador. And she joins the Kelly Cutrara Show on this World Water Day to talk about it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so happy you've agreed to be on the show today. Can you tell us about how bad things are in First Nations communities across Canada when it comes to the access to clean drinking water?
Yeah, so 18% of First Nations communities across Canada and 35% of First Nations communities in Ontario alone are under drinking water advisory. And that's, the stats of what they print. But what a lot of people don't know is that the eligibility, if you want to call it that, to be on these lists is very strict. So there are actually more communities that flex under boil water advisories, but because they don't meet the criteria, they're not necessarily included. So it is an extreme crisis.
As a Water First ambassador, what exactly do you do and how do you work to change things?
So as a Water First ambassador, I bring awareness to the programs that address water challenges in Indigenous communities in Canada through education, training, and meaningful collaboration that they do. Actually, in fact, last November, I had the pleasure of shadowing and supporting the staff of the Indigenous Schools Water Operator Program, and it was just so great to see how engaged the youth were. It's really important for me to actually be a part of the work because I think that advocacy piece, we really need to understand what it is we're advocating for.
And so when it comes to environmental challenges, where did things start to go south? Was it through our industry? Is it climate change? Why are there so many people that don't have access to clean water in Canada when, you fly over Canada and all you see are lakes?
Yeah, that's a really complicated and in-depth question. I think we definitely need more time to go into all the legislation and policy around it. But I think it's actually really comes down to hopefully in the future that the government and, First Nations communities will be able to have that conversation about whose role is what and also addressing the cost. The cost, I don't think a lot of people are aware of how much it costs to have, water lines run to a house and who's accountable for that as well. In some communities, it's actually up to the homeowners to run those water lines to their house or even, to the streets. So I think there is a lot of miscommunication, maybe a lot of misinformation around how people get access to clean drinking water and who is liable for those charges and costs.
Well, I know the Oneida Band in I think they're around St. Thomas, have been, asking for access to clean water for ages now. And basically there's a price tag attached to it. And it's a pretty high number. And everybody, they're going through exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so who actually should foot the bill for providing Canadians with clean drinking water?
Yeah, the fact that we're even having to have that conversation really just exhausts me, I think, emotionally, because we just shouldn't have to be having this conversation. And the fact that we're having it now in 2023, when promises have been made years ago by various prime ministers, and we still have not come to a solution. And, it was supposed to be something that was supposed to be at the top of the list. And I think as we continue to ignore the need for this, what we're really saying to people is that, these people don't matter.
Yeah, some people are more deserved than others.
Absolutely.
And that's ridiculous because we all share this land. Let's talk about Water First, that NGO that you work for and work with. And I know there are a lot of people that work with you at Water First. What is the main goal? Is it education? Is it what's your main goal when it comes to clean drinking water?
I think it's really about creating sustainable access to clean and safe water through many areas. So, we have our drinking water internship program, and that is a 15-month paid internship where the drinking water operator or interns have direct access to the education they need to become certified water treatment plant operators. So the approach there is to ensure sustainable access to safe drinking water in Indigenous communities is for the long term. If we look at the environmental water program, we have heard time and time again that their vision of Indigenous land management is really central core to that. So communities want to manage water resources and track the effects of industry and climate change. And as a result, they're seeking ways to strengthen the technical capacity to do so. So that's where Water First consults with Indigenous partners about that long-term environmental water goal. And then we also have the Indigenous Schools Water Program, and that was the one that I went to go on. It was just so exciting to see all the youth from kindergarten to high school really engaging and being excited to learn about it, also teaching us what they have learned as well, what they know. And it's important to get school-age children interested in and excited about water science. So more Indigenous voices can be a part of that water management in the future. And that's why Water First offers Indigenous students, what I would consider the most impassioned and empowering and exciting water science learning opportunities possible.
Opportunity is what it's all about. And hopefully those opportunities will lead to real solutions. You have about 30 seconds left with me. I know it flies, especially, when you really are passionate about what you're talking about. Can we talk about how Canadians can get involved, the average Canadian listening right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing is, to go visit Water First. I know I'm dropping the name a little bit, but you can become a monthly donor, or you can make a one-time donation, or even just sharing the information that they have on their site, having these conversations in your home, helping your own children or family members understand the importance of water. There's many organizations that you can Google and become a part of, sharing that information. I think the other thing too is that if you do have the opportunity, to sign petitions, to go on the public speaking days where you can go and talk to your members of parliament and let them know that you stand for the initiatives for the right to clean water. But I think really it's about talking about it in your home, really getting that grassroots approach. And it starts in our living rooms. It starts in our kitchens. And we have to really humanize this topic and understand that this is an environmental crime.
I want to thank you for joining us, Nadia. You've been great. And the website is waterfirst.ngo. Hopefully that sparks some conversation and some action. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks so much.
Cheers. Happy World Water Day. We're going to take a quick break for the news. We'll be right back.